Hi, welcome to the How She Made It series. We are always talking about what it takes to be a wealthy woman and what it really means. I am Tiffany Scott, your host. I'm the founder of You Me She Collective and Sister Suppers. And today I want to introduce you to Dana Shalit. She is an amazing Canadian who recently I met in LA, I think about a year ago, right? It's probably coming up to a year. And she's also an incredible Sister Supper host. So Dana is a top income earner for an international social marketing company, and she also runs a global charitable foundation. That's as much as I'm going to share because she's going to be able to do it so much better than I am. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and what you love to do.
Thanks, Tiffany. It's so fun to be here. We've been talking about it for about a year now, about that we will do this interview. So really honored, and thank you so much for having me. I am an independent consultant and executive national vice president with a company called Arbonne International. I also run an incredible foundation called Artbound, which concentrates on building schools and creating art programs to underprivileged kids around the world. So that's what I'm passionate about. Those two things really create who I am as a holistic businesswoman.
Yeah, and I love when we first met and we first spoke, you were talking about how what you do in your business life has really been able to create the life that you love and do this charitable work. And I'm always so curious about, as an entrepreneur, I'm so curious about different businesses and how they work and how they run. And you are part of a multi-level marketing company, or what's kind of been reframed as a social marketing company. Because let's face it, I think there is some stigma around them about multi-level marketing. And I know, speaking with you and some other women in my community, you really helped me to understand how it can work and what it means when you are successful in that kind of business. And I think there's a lot of preconceived ideas around sort of people that are in multi-level marketing or social marketing companies. There's so many different ones, and you see so many levels of great success. And then you also hear a lot of stories of not great success or pushy salespeople and things like that. So I loved it when you and I spoke, and I said to you, what do you think, what was your journey, which I'd love you to share, and what was the tipping point, and how did you create your success? Because you do exceptionally well. We were just talking before we got on here about how you travel once a month, and not just like around Canada, it's to the US. You just got back from Europe. I saw you in Korea a couple of months ago. Like, you really do, from the outside looking in, live the dream life. So can you share more about your journey into your success and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. So I would say my shift really began about 7.5, 8 years ago. And at the time I was running my own event production company. And, it was what I had gone to school for, what I had, all my jobs had led up to me owning my own event production company. But after a couple years of doing that, I was starting to feel overworked, overwhelmed. I was looking into the future of my life thinking, am I really going to be working these kind of, 80-hour weeks for the rest of my life? I had no time for my health, and I had no time for myself. And so I had taken the traditional business owning route, and I had found that it wasn't giving me what I thought it would. It wasn't giving me the time flexibility or the financial flexibility that I was craving to really build this kind of life that I get to live now. That's when I got introduced to this industry, to the social marketing industry. As you said, the rebrand, I think, is necessary, as you and I spoke about, but it also really speaks to what it is that I do. I am a walking, talking billboard. I represent a brand that I believe in, and I share it with other people. And when that results in a sale, I get compensated for it. And when I coach other people how to be effective ambassadors of that brand as well, then I get compensated for that as well. And so what it ends up creating is an international network of people representing the brand, telling other people about it, and sharing what they're already passionate about, product that they already use every single day. So it's been an unbelievable journey over 7 years of learning how to do this, learning, the industry, the ins and outs. But like you said, it's been the best decision I ever made.
I love that you talk about that you're a walking, talking billboard, because you really are. You're so passionate about this brand, and you're always glowing. Always.
It's a real thing.
She has the most amazing skin, not just on camera but off camera as well. But was it? Do you feel like it was like an easy kind of road for you, or did you? Was there? What
Oh,
was
no.
the journey? Okay.
It did not look like this. I think sometimes from the outside in, we look at that highlight reel on Instagram or Facebook, and it looks like it's, it was that easy. But it was actually in my biggest lows, the points where I wanted to quit the most, that I had the biggest growth, that I was able to create more of what I wanted, to say, that, doesn't work for me. I want to be this kind of person. I want to feel this certain way. So, yeah, I had a ton of lows. And I think that's the biggest misconception about entering an industry like social marketing, is that because it is what perceived to be a better way of doing life and business, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily easier. It's a very much an internal, filled with internal lessons about your own personal beliefs, about yourself, your ability to listen to others, your ability to be of service to other people and can remain unattached from results, and the ability to really be patient and wait out the process of building this business, like any business that you have to build.
Yeah, that's so true. And I remember when we first spoke about this, I said, what do you like? What do you feel like that created your success? And you said it was my mindset, and that was such a big shift for you, that you decided that you were going to make this succeed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like any business,
Yeah.
no matter what type of business it is, whether you're working for a social marketing company or you're creating your own business. As you go into being your, really your own boss, your own CEO, it is mindset. It's doing the work. It's doing the work, and then it's doing the internal work. And I think that was a real big thing that I got to hear from you. And I was like, you were just like, it was really hard. And then I decided that I was going to do this no matter what. And then things started to shift and change. And now you travel every 6 weeks around the world.
Exactly. And I can't wait to and every time I take a vacation from that, it's, we were just saying that it's, you and I were having this conversation that I love to travel, but like everything, it comes with its own challenges. And even that's uncomfortable. It's probably why I'm so addicted to it. I'm addicted to the discomfort of travel and, being out there on a limb and not knowing the language and not knowing where I'm going. But it's very much the same in business. You have to have trust for the long run. You have to have faith and patience that if you take action consistent with your goals every single day for a prolonged period of time, you'll also see success. But the problem for most is that they quit much too soon. They give themselves a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months.
Right.
But, I'm talking, I was consistent to really see results every single day for 2.5 years. Behind the scenes, I was getting no's and hearing things, people tell me this was never going to work, and, oh, it's one of those things. And I was hearing every kind of objection. But while that was happening, I was also seeing the results of wanting to make a difference for people. People's skins were changing. People were losing weight. They were starting to believe in themselves. They had hopes and dreams for their future for the first time in a really long time. And so it became not about me. It became, I'm going to present this opportunity. I'm going to present this business and this product to other people and let them choose, and have patience and faith that if I do that enough times, it'll come back at me.
Yeah. And I love that, how it's such a ripple effect as well. Like, so there's the customers that you work with that are buying the products, and then you've got your teams that you coach as well on mindset, on the products, how to get out there, how to make themselves known, how to support other people. So it's like this, it really is this constant ripple effect that goes on and on and on and on. And I think the biggest thing for you is that, or any kind of business, any business at all, is that you have to be passionate about it. Because to get up day in and day out, even when the going gets tough, you've got to believe in it. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. And I know you really believe in this.
Yeah, that I can't say that I was insanely passionate about the product when I started. So that's, I think, also a misconception. I didn't even wash my face when I started.
Really?
I was not. It was, I know, disgusting but true. And I was passionate about the business opportunity. So I think, everybody comes into this from different reasons. I have many people who start on the product and eventually become independent consultants because they're automatically telling people about it and talking about it. So it becomes a natural transition. But for me, I saw the business side of things. I saw, I took a look at the industry as a whole, at the company as a whole, the product, and the question for myself was, how uncomfortable am I willing to get to live a life that is flexible on my terms?
Yeah.
And I still work Arbonne, and like I said, I still work the business. I'm an independent consultant, as I was when I first started. But I took steps to share this with a lot of people, share the opportunity, and in time also find my passion for the product and the difference it made for me.
And what I love about you, and often a lot of there's a few women in my community that work with the product as well, but never pushy. It's just like, here it is, it speaks for itself, try it, and if you want more, then you know where I am, which I really love. So it really kind of it changes that perception of, and I know that there's always different people. There are some pushy people and things like that, but my experience has been that it hasn't been the typical multi-level marketing push it on you kind of experience that a lot of people are resistant to, or is given, now it's called social marketing, a bad name. So, but it's like any business or business owner, there's sometimes some rotten eggs, so to speak.
Yeah.
So,
and especially with this kind of business where the cost of entry is really low, and a lot of people, a lot of people can enter and have no training and just start talking about it. So I think that's why we take our community really seriously, and we take the coaching and the training that we do really seriously, because we are this brand. We are the representatives of this brand. And, I just want more people to have an opportunity to see that you can live a life that's healthy and, possible, not only from what you're eating and consuming, but what you're putting on your skin and what you're feeding your soul and your mind and the kind of people you're surrounding yourself by. I think in Sister Supper, that's really what it's all about. It's about this community of people coming together and sharing vulnerably and authentically and, spreading that out into the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking about spreading out into the universe and heart and soul, tell us more about the charitable work that you do.
Yeah, so it's another beautiful journey. I've been with them for about a decade. I started producing, when I was producing events, they were one of my clients. That's how I got involved. A pro bono client that I just loved what it stood for. Essentially, the first project was to build a community center, an art center in rural Kenya. And that's what we did in 2011. And then we followed it with India, the same kind of project in India. And then since then, we've been all over the world. So Guatemala, Nicaragua, and most recently in Haiti as well. And it's my passion. We build schools, we support the current infrastructure in those countries, whatever it is that they need to survive, and the basic needs. But then we'll add on top of that after school art programs or community centers or dance classes, whatever it is, to sort of expand the mind and really help break that cycle of poverty by reminding ourselves how to be creative.
That's amazing. What's the name of it again? What's the name of the charity?
It's called Artbound. So Artbound. And what's unique about us also is that we don't only fundraise for the projects that we support, but we travel there. That is part of our mandate, is to go and connect whenever possible with the kids in the communities. I'm being attacked by a fly here, but these kids in the communities, and really not only open their hearts, but open ours in return.
So if you become a donator to Artbound, can you go and help and build a school?
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. That's so great. And do they do it kind of like once a year, a couple of times a year?
Yeah, so we're actually, it's all going to come out on our website in the next couple of months. Right now it's we're just entering the information as we speak, but it's next year we're supposed to have 3 trips as of right now. So that's where we're expanding to. We used to do 1 a year. Last year we did 2. We went back to Nicaragua and built a big school in Haiti as well.
Oh my gosh. And what's kind of the criteria, or is there a criteria if you decide, I want to go and build a school with Artbound?
Yeah, so as of right now, we have a waiting list to attend to our trips, but it's you pay your way, so it's not something you fundraise for, and then you commit to fundraising a certain portion of the project, and we do it as a team, and then we go there, we see where the money went, what we did, and then usually what happens is once we're on the ground through social media, through these ways of being connected, we tend to raise a lot more than what we plan, and that always feels incredible once you've, hugged the person you're supporting on the other side of the world.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So
Mm.
you pay your own way, you fundraise, and then you actually go and get to experience where that money, like tangibly where that money is
Mm.
going and how it's,
Absolutely. And I
yeah.
think there's just nothing like it. I think tourism is changing. I think, you can relate for someone who travels a lot. We're really searching for deeper connections, deeper communities. And what you realize when you go up to the other side of the world, where really you're not speaking the same language, that it, really the only thing that connects us all is this ability to love and smile and connect. And that comes from creativity. Creativity cultivates love, and it cultivates happiness and expression of, this is my own unique human experience. And now I'm showing it to you and you're showing it to me.
Yes. Oh my God, you just hit me in the heart then. That just like made me all teary and
I feel it too. It's the reason where, I do it every day, even on the days I don't feel like it, because it's a bigger purpose.
yeah, yeah. Well, I definitely offline, I want to talk to you more about that because it's something that I definitely want to
Yes,
get involved.
we're going to do it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome,
Amazing.
awesome. So I know that you're going to launch your website in the fall, and I would love for you to share more about your three pillars because they're so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very much about who I am as a whole. It's about growing. So one of my pillars is all about growth. I'm a huge believer that we are the product of our own limitations. So it's about uncovering your self-imposed limitations. What are you reading? What are you feeding your soul? What are you challenging about your own belief system, about what's possible for you and not possible for you? And for me, books have changed my life. I'm just consuming them as much as I can. But, I'm talking about the kind of books that really remind you who you are, and what's possible for you. So that's the grow aspect. Then there's the glow aspect. So glowing from the inside out, what it takes to really live a healthy lifestyle. Of course, I have a belief that a certain ingredient policy is what is needed in order to have the best quality products that are nourishing yourself from the inside out. What is it that you're eating? What is it that you're putting on topically as well?
Yeah.
And then the give aspect, which is all about how do you get started in giving? How do you get started in uncovering your own purpose in this world? For me, it's Artbound. For others, it could be, there's so many opportunities to give and connect. And it starts with a single step. It starts with just, saying, I think I'd like to do that. If time and money weren't an issue, I think I'd like to do that. And finding a way to getting moving towards that goal.
Yeah. Grow,
Glow and
give.
give. Yeah.
So good. So yummy. So good. As you're talking, I'm like, oh, I'd love to do sister suppers in countries across the world. Like at the moment, I'm focusing on the USA and you in Canada and then Australia and then Europe. But wouldn't it be so great if we could gather women in Africa and Asia and, the Middle East? And it just, that would be amazing.
We'll talk about that offline too, because I have someone to connect you with here now that we're talking about it.
Good.
It has the same kind of mandate of just bringing people together.
Yeah.
And making authentic connections, which we've lost, over, it's natural with technology, right? Even us, we're talking from different parts of the world and it's amazing. It's keeping us connected, but on the other side of it, it would be great if we were in person.
It's so much better when we get together in person, and that's exactly why I started Sister Suppers, so women could gather around the kitchen table together or the dining table or the lounge room and have conscious and critical conversations, because this is great, like we get to stay connected. But when we saw each other 6 months ago in Venice Beach, like that was so great, even better, right?
And I felt like I knew you forever, but at the same time, it was a deeper connection, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've got some clients that I've actually never even physically met before, which is so crazy, so crazy. And then when I do physically meet them, it's like, oh my God, you're here. And it's like, oh yeah, but we've met, we know each other. It's such the world that we live in. So what's the new website URL? So when
It will be up in the next couple months. It's danashalit.com. So
okay,
DASHALIT.com.
great. And in the meantime, how can the people watching and listening connect with you?
Instagram's probably the best way. I'm on there the most often. So it's the handle, and Dana Shalit.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm sure there's going to be some listeners that would like to learn more about, social marketing. And you're such a great example of how it can work and how you worked it. And the raw authenticity of the way that you show up is so beautiful to witness. And it's real. Like it's saying yes to you. It's the mindset. It's all of it. So one last question. I think you've already answered this, but let's see what else comes up. What does it mean to you to be a wealthy woman?
I would say that peacefulness is probably the most important thing for me at this point in my life, because what I can say is I've seen some pretty big highs in my business life and some pretty big lows. I've seen the full spectrum of it, and every high and every low is fleeting. And, this too shall pass when you're in the worst of it, but this too shall pass when you're in the best of it. And some of the hardest times I've had have actually been when I received everything I wanted, and learning how to deal with that energy and learning how to deal with the acknowledgement and all these insane lessons that you learn when you get what you want. So throughout it all, I would say all I want is to be peaceful and present and happy in the moment, and trust that everything else is just going to pass anyways. So yeah, that's what being wealthy to me means, really, is being happy with no matter what happens.
Yeah, I love that. Such a good reminder just to live in that presence and that peacefulness.
Yeah.
It really does come within. It doesn't matter what's going on the outside. It's how we feel on the
Exactly.
inside. I actually have another question for you.
Sure.
What book are you reading? Or if you're probably like me, you read books. Like
There's a book.
What are you listening to or reading at the moment?
So my ongoing book is A Course in Miracles. And I just came back, I'm deep into it, and I'll probably be reading it forever. I don't ever see myself stopping to do that. But I just got back from vacation, so I finished 2 killer books on vacation. So how about I share those before I delve into, which is Dying to Be Me by Anita Morjani. Unbelievable book. Afford by Wayne Dyer. So good. And then Into the Magic Shop, another incredible book. That I pulled that off in a day on the beach. It was one of those, like, I'm going to finish this today kind of books. So great books.
So Dying to Be Me, I've heard about that one. I'm going to add that to my list. What was the other one by Wayne Dyer?
So it's not by Wayne Dyer, and I'm forgetting the author's name. It's called Into the Magic Shop.
Oh, Into the Magic Shop.
It's a neurosurgeon's quest into the heart, essentially. So it's written by a neurosurgeon and what he knows about the brain and the heart and how it works. And it's fascinating.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, great book.
Awesome. All right, my love. So good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being just who you are, an inspiration. I love everything that you shared. So inspiring. And I can't wait to get this out and share this with the community. And so connect with Dana on her Instagram and then on her website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steph. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.